Welcome back. As always, my name's Dave. Today's video is a little different. As you can tell, we're in my office. We're doing a reaction video to a famous YouTuber's new home tour. And I wanted to bring you guys along as we view it and review it through the eyes of an architect. To do that, I've brought my sketchbook, trace paper, and pens, because if we find anything interesting during this, we're going to sketch that out, and I'm going to show you guys how an architect thinks and possible ways that this home could have been redesigned. If you guys find this content fascinating, fun, or just enjoyable, let us know in the comment section. We love that back and forth with you guys. If you find it enjoyable, definitely hit that thumbs up button for us, because it helps us out with YouTube's algorithm, and it just lets us know you enjoy it. If you guys are new to the channel and aren't familiar with myself, I am a licensed architect. I practice in the states of North Dakota, Pennsylvania, and Texas. And behind me here, you can see one of the houses I've designed. I practice a lot of mid-level to high-end modern architecture. Because of that, I actually waited to watch this video till I can film this with you guys. With that, we're just gonna jump right into watching this video.
What's up, guys? It's Graham here. So for those that don't know, about 8 months ago, I relocated from Los Angeles over to Las Vegas.
Smart move.
In the process, I put down a deposit on the home you're about to see today.
Okay.
Now, back then, I gave a tour of the unfinished property while it was...
I remember watching that video, and that's when I decided I was going to do this reaction video.
Yet, and half the house was unfinished, and it's been a perpetual work in progress until today. After 7 months of patiently waiting, I'm really excited to show you the final finished house tour.
7 months ago. Okay.
And
That's
I'll be
about
showing
right.
you a complete before and after so you can see all the work that was done along the way. Because I gotta say, there have been a lot of changes made here that you will be seeing now for the first time.
Awesome. Glad to see it.
The home itself is just over...
Wow, looks exactly like the two houses next to it, and they're 2 feet apart.
When I was first showing this area, it was a complete construction mess, and they hadn't even installed the brick along the driveway. But now, as you can see, everything is done, the landscape went in, and at night we have a few lights that turn the house into a spaceship. But I digress. Come inside, just make sure to smile for the camera.
Security?
Well, when we first moved in, this entry was completely empty. The tile floors had just been installed, and it was a completely blank canvas with these massive 25-foot ceilings. But now all the work is done, and it's absolutely perfect. I absolutely love when you walk in, this is the main focal point. It's a 310-gallon reef aquarium put together by Infinity Aquariums.
So he's talking about this aquarium right now. I don't think it does justice for the space. It's kind of like this piece of furniture that's just pushed right in front of the front door. I feel like it should be an accent wall in of itself rather than just something you walk right into that's just a glass tank with some cheap looking lights on top of it. I feel like there could have been some architectural element or some casework element that would have really, really popped.
But overall, the entire entry was designed to make a statement, and that's why we accented 2 of the walls in black and installed a hanging light fixture from the ceiling. And then we move on to the kitchen. Originally, when I first posted about the kitchen, it was a completely massive open space with a huge center island, waterfall countertops, and tall ceilings, but now it's completely transformed into this. The first item we got to address is the refrigerator. Now, originally, I waited until Black Friday to get a really good deal on a KitchenAid refrigerator that would perfectly fit this space, and it was scheduled to arrive within about 2 to 3 weeks. But little did I know that appliances were about to be on a severe back order due to inventory and supply chain issues. So for the last 6 months, we've been improvising with a small mini refrigerator
just like my
from
college
Amazon,
days, I had one of those
made that
just
work
like
for
that.
3 people. But just recently, after a half a year of waiting, the original refrigerator was delivered, and now the kitchen is finally complete.
Right.
Now next to the refrigerator, we got more
Which he doesn't drink. Which is totally cool, but you gotta keep it decorated. It's your standard pantry. You want 2 different types. I don't get the 2 different types of coffee makers, but besides the point, that's not really the architect's vision. It's kind of just how you live in the house. I'm not a big fan of the way this kitchen is laid out. While he's talking about this candy jar, I just kind of want to point out, I'm not a big fan of these cabinets. It kind of looks like something I had in an apartment back when I lived in Dallas. It's that fake wood grain that's just basically adhered on. So I'm going to stop it here while he's got the space wide open. I think that one thing that should have definitely been done was that you could see the cabinets kind of just stop at that second window. I like that it breaks that line. It's following continuity through with the linear elements within the space. So whoever designed the kitchen, they really thought through that. But that house probably has 12 to 14 foot ceilings. Those cabinets should have gone all the way up. Even though you're not going to use them, it helps to fill that space. It stops the feeling of being in a shoebox. I'm assuming his home is very wide open. This is a wide angle that he's shooting on, and you can't really see the whole grasp of how big that space is, but it's just voluminous, and you kind of want to fill that. And to do so, I would have brought those cabinets all the way up in that modern aesthetic, and it would have helped it out a lot. And I think possibly even doing a ladder rack across that, kind of like Beauty and the Beast, how Belle flies across the library ladder, something like that in that space would have been a lot better than just having these short stubby cabinets.
Ramsey cutout was given to us by a
Dave Ramsey
subscriber.
cutout, I love it. I'll have to explain to you guys sometime about how I was actually on his show and I met him
channel from an Instagram
2 years ago, I think it is now.
In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions, David is with us. Hi, David. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. Where do you live, sir?
Dallas, Texas now.
All right. Welcome. Good to have you.
Come over now.
Well done, sir. Love it, love it.
Okay, we're gonna do it after picture.
Dave Ramsey actually commented on it. So Dave Ramsey, I'm honored that you're in the house and you can come and stay anytime. Then behind that, we have this entire wall painted black as an accent. I understand that this is not everyone's taste, but I really wanted to make a bold statement, and this entire wall was just a blank canvas.
See, I'm going to point this out again. It is just this volume, and it just goes. It's a lot like modern apartments. If many of you watching this video right now are sitting in an apartment that's been built in the last 10 years, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it feels like you're sitting in a shoebox, especially those ones that are more like the 800 square foot, and it is just this long corridor. That's exactly what he's got here. There's no real character in this space. I know it's supposed to be modern, but it's an easy way for a builder to cut around corners and just have this open space.
So we built this huge centerpiece out of 3x3 foot frames with the YouTube play button right in the middle. Now this is really one of those things where if you don't know YouTube, this just looks like a cool design, but if you are into YouTube, then you get it. Plus doing this was not expensive at all. They're just normal 3x3 foot glass frames, a quick computer mock-up printed out on glossy paper, and that's it.
See, right here you even see how he's got this wide angle lens and he's showing you all of what this house is and how just voluminous it is. I do like that the ceiling above the kitchen and dining space has dropped, so you're creating this differential in spaces and showing you this whole space, which is totally cool. But you can see how giant that couch is. It's probably like an 60 to an 80-inch television. It seems tiny in the corner there. In comparison, that's a 32-inch television over my right shoulder. And I do really appreciate that they at least lowered the ceiling above the kitchen and dining space, because that's giving you the sense of more of a private space, more of a seclusion. It's kind of defining that space. It's not quite what Frank Lloyd Wright would have done. If you're curious about that, check out the Darwin house. If you're big into architecture, he really played with ceiling heights and how you define space, and it worked. Not like this. I think how I mentioned before, if you would have brought the cabinets all the way up to the ceiling, that would have definitely helped define this space as the kitchen, and then maybe some cove lights or recessed lighting above that kitchen. That probably could have worked too.
Here's what it looks like today. Now on the far end, we got the grand piano. I mentioned this before.
Love the Steinway. Oh my, it's not a Steinway, it's a Kawhi. Jumped to conclusions. It's alright, I've moved a lot of those in my lifetime.
We have two walk-in closets with barn doors that close them off.
Okay, I just put them in some clients.
Love
it.
Like here's what
Love
it used
it.
to look like before.
Right here. When this builder did this, what were they thinking? I feel like this was a plan that they purchased online somewhere, or they had a draftsman do it. I don't think that there was an architect involved, because why would you ever put windows that face your neighbor's house? So like this concrete wall right here we're looking at, on the other side of that is going to be another house, and these houses are like 3 feet apart. So you have these giant massive windows that look into somebody else's house, and it's probably their bathroom too, because all these guys do are they mirror the plans, or they'll put them right next to each other in the exact same pattern. So you're probably looking directly into somebody else's bathroom, and there's no privacy. So as we continue here, now going out the back, since he has the mountain coming up the side, totally cool, and I would love that. But as you can see right here, when he switches to what it looks like now, he's got these shades down. Totally useless window. Why would you even put that there? It doesn't make any sense, because if you ever have that open, you're just looking at your neighbors. Again, like a 10-foot tall shower, not quite making any sense there. Yeah, nobody thought through that design, and I'm sure he's going to point that out right here, but you have to think like cohesively. This has to make sense. You have to design these homes for the person that's going to live there. So he probably bought this thing on spec. Like, it was probably a spec build or partially under construction maybe, and he didn't have much say. The builder was like, this is how we're going to do it. That's not a brick veneer. That's definitely that fake stuff that you put up in panels and it's made to look like brick. Graham, come on, man. You bought $1 million house and you just put this lick and stick stuff up. Put the real brick. They make this stuff that's like a 1/4 inch thick. They literally saw it off of a real brick, and then you can just put it up like tile, and it looks good. Not like, I could tell right here where your seams are, and just.
What are you doing, Jack?
No, wait a second. Wait a second. His editing room is this huge massive thing, and he doesn't even use half the space. And you put the other guy in the laundry room? Okay. All right. There we go. There's your reason. Yeah. Yeah, you got to do this stuff right, man. You could buy actual panels. I mean, this is $1 million house, and you're just kind of like hacking it up. I don't get why some people do this stuff, but you can get architectural acoustic panels that you truly mount to the ceiling. They come down a little bit, kind of like the way a drop ceiling would, and it actually soaks up that sound, and you have a plenum above that to help also stop some sound too, because you have some air circulation above that. This foam stuff blows my mind what people do when they're trying to save a buck. But you spend $1 million like on this house, and you're actually devaluing it now by spray adhesing this stuff on the ceiling.
A few days, they all started dropping off one by one, and then finally we got the brand new finished office. Here's what it looks like before we closed on the house.
Okay.
Now here's what it looks like today. Now as you walk in, you're going to notice a third coffee maker compliments of Terra Cafe, and I gotta say this one is absolutely incredible.
I love my coffee. I'm not that into it. I do love my iced coffee, but I don't know about all this stuff. I only have one, Mr. Coffee from Walmart.
Button, and within seconds, a fresh coffee is made. And below that, you might notice something familiar. It's the mini Amazon refrigerator.
Good. Repurpose that stuff. I love it.
Down here, and Macy filled it up with some coffee creamer and flavored waters.
Coffee creamer. Nah.
And from there, we have a couch that I'm able to do most of my editing on, and it also doubles as the podcast studio for the Iced Coffee Hour. I then accented that with an aviation drawer to match the desk.
Restoration hardware, maybe? I've seen this stuff before. And that's the end of his house tour. I think that's about it for us two guys. And that's where we're going to end it for today. Graham goes on to talk a little bit more about the outside of his house and the studio, but that's not really going to pertain to architecture. A lot of that is just landscape design and how he runs his business. So we're just going to call it quits there. We really appreciate you guys for sticking around this long. If you're new to the channel and you liked what we did today, hit that like button. If you stuck around this long, we know you did. If you're interested in seeing more content from us, hit that subscribe button as well, because it's going to let you know when we come out with new content. And if you're not already following us on Instagram or Facebook, go head over there and check us out, because you'll find out any behind the scenes stuff before we go live on YouTube. If you're interested in anything that may have been brought up in today's video, the history lessons, architecture, or other videos that we may have mentioned, check the link in the description. We'll have all that stuff listed for you down there. And until next time, keep building.